I know there's another one.
Nice and quiet.
You're safe any other day.
Pass the baby down.
Yeah, I was gonna ask one thing.
Welcome, everyone. We are a small but mighty group, but frankly, we are excited. So many family members from both inductees are so much a part of the induction ceremony. And although the place is not packed, I'm Dawn Gable, the director of the Ag Hall, by the way. Let me tell you, the phone has been ringing off the hook, especially from the state of Illinois. Newspapers, radio across the state of Illinois have been passionately interested in two inductees to the National Agricultural Hall of Fame from Illinois. And let me assure you that that was serendipitous. That was not planned. That was a happy accident. And we didn't even notice it ourselves at first until the phone started ringing. So welcome, and let it be known that you need to Google it up and see on the news feeds because it's very interesting. This is our 50th year. I hope you take a moment to see the lovely display with from the Eisenhower Library over in Abilene, Kansas. President Eisenhower signed our charter in 1960. It's our 55th year of charter. It's our 50th year of building. The ribbon cutting was in 1965. And so we are excited that during this auspicious year that we're able to induct two really wonderful and deserving entities into the Hall of Fame. So that's my part, and thank you, and please be our guests and enjoy Touch a Truck and Tractor Days. Say that 10 times, Touch a Truck, Tractor Days. It will go from 10 to 4 today. And it's quite an event. There's lovely things for everyone to do, not just the children, but lots of children things. So thank you for coming and welcome. And this is let me introduce Clossie Smith, our board president.
Good morning and welcome to this great occasion in the history of the Ag Hall of Fame. We decided this year to do two people because we had two great candidates. We did not do any last year, so we're very fortunate to have been able to induct two candidates today. I do hope that afterwards you'll go out and enjoy the rest of the festivities. They've got a lot of great events coming. It will be a lot of fun. But let me introduce some of the family members here, and please hold your applause till after we get them all introduced. First of all, let's start out with the Kennicott Foundation. We have Elizabeth Kopp, the archivist here. Lisa. We have Harrison Kennicott, who's with us up here on stage. We'll have comments later on. And Katie Kennicott, who is Harrison's wife. So now we can applaud. From the Selby family, we have Ken Selby and his wife, Carol. It's Carol and Ken's behind me. We'll hear from him later. Their daughter, Cindy Dodge, and her husband, Jim. Thank you. We have daughter Valerie Duff and husband Tom and their children, Brendan and Courtney. Well, yeah, that's good. Courtney got her hand up there. Good. We have daughter Dale Mixer and her husband Devin. We have Barbara and Brenda. Okay, Brenda and Jackson being the smallest member here today. Lepin and Jackson's a great grandson of Mr. Selby. And of course, finally, our own Susan Pepperdine, who's a member of the Board of Directors of the Ag Hall of Fame. So welcome. Now you can applaud for yourselves again.
Deanne
Pardon?
is a granddaughter. My husband and Rick Stegman.
Welcome. I'm sorry I missed you. Oh. Not a mind reader.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the Ag Hall of Fame is a two-tiered governance group. We have the Board of Governors, who appoint the Board of Directors, who elect their officers, and the Board of Directors run the day-to-day operation. The Board of Governors oversee the overall operation of the Ag Hall of Fame. And we are having a very good year. It's my pleasure to introduce Dale Warman, who is President of the Board of Governors. Dale?
Thank you, Costa. My name is Dale Warman, and I know that because it's on my driver's license. I am a chairman or president of the Board of Governors, past president of the Board of Directors. A disclaimer right up front, I know nothing about agriculture. I grew up on the east side of Kansas City, Missouri, and my mom and dad never had a farm. I didn't even know, the first time I saw a big piece of grass was at Swope Park, and I thought that was fabulous. But I came up here, and I got involved a few years ago, and I have the highest respect and admiration for the farmers and the people who worked agriculture years ago and what they've done for this country. To me, this is my opinion, they are the foundation of small business and the foundation of our country that built us today. So that's why I'm up here, and I carry the message, and I'll keep carrying it. I think we have to tell the story and keep telling the story. I can tell you, I brought my granddaughter up here, and she had an egg. They had hens out here, and she got to take an egg. All the way home, she was telling me that's a real egg. Told her mom it's a real egg. And I said, what do you mean by a real egg? He said, a chicken laid this egg. And I said, where do you think the ones come in the stores? They make them. So I said, we got a big story. We need to get some message out there to everybody. So that's what we're here for. And as we tell the history, not a better idea than everybody that was involved in it. I don't think that Forrest and Dr. Kennicott had any idea they were going to ever be in the Agriculture Hall of Fame. They did what they had to be done. They seen a need, and they helped out. The young farmers starting off really needed some work. We needed recognition at the national level. They saw it. They did it. And I'm so happy today that we can recognize their efforts. And I know you're all very proud. And thank you for the opportunity that we can do that. Thank you.
One of the purposes of the Ag Hall of Fame is to remember those who have made significant contributions to agriculture. And there are many, and we're fortunate today to honor two people who come from different eras of agriculture, different contributions, yet major contributions to what has been done. He was talking about his granddaughter not knowing. I had a young lady come through here. I'm a volunteer here one day a week sometimes, and she said, boy, farming was hard work. And it was hard work. And because of people like Forrest Selby and Dr. Kennicott, farming has come a tremendously long way. It's a long way from the old metal wheel tractors, which you can see down in the Museum of Farming, to today's very modern farming. So it's a pleasure to honor these two great men. And we'll start out with Dr. John Albert Kennicott. He was born in 1802 and passed away in 1863. Dr. John Albert Kennicott, a visionary horticulturist, is inducted for his timeless work to educate farmers about innovative agricultural methodology. He was instrumental in the establishment of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the land-grant university system, and the first state fairs in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Growing up on a farm and small nursery in Montgomery County, New York, Kennicott gained an interest in plant culture from his parents. After leaving the farm in 1823, he taught school in Buffalo, New York, alongside former U.S. President Martin Van Buren. When I read that, I wondered how many people ever heard of President Martin Van Buren. Later, he was New Orleans' first public school system director, and after moving to Illinois, he founded a nursery still operating today in Chicago as Kennicott Brothers Company. In 1947, Dr. Kennicott began broadening his influence nationally by contributing articles to the Prairie Farmer. He campaigned to establish the Illinois Board of Agriculture, becoming its vice president in 1853. He was journal editor for the Illinois State Agricultural Society, and in 1861 became president of the Illinois State Horticultural Society. Through the United States Agricultural Society, Dr. Kennicott promoted establishing the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Illinois idea for a national system of agricultural and mechanical universities. His efforts helped lead to the 1862 Morrill Act signed by President Lincoln that established land-grant universities. Dr. Kennicott was also a strong advocate for state fairs. The Illinois State Fair Museum Foundation said he recognized the need for an event that will allow farmers, manufacturers, homemakers, and educators an opportunity to gather and exhibit their latest inventions and techniques. Dr. Kennicott's legacy continues to be honored today at the Groves, his home in Glenview, Illinois, designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1976. It's an honor to induct Dr. John Albert Kennicott to the Agricultural Hall of Fame. I believe we'll hear a few comments from Dr. Kennicott's great-grandson.
Mr. Smith, excuse me, before we begin, may I introduce two more family members that are here with us?
Sure.
This is Mr. Paul Kennicott and his wife, Patty.
Welcome. I'm sorry we didn't introduce you before. Thank you.
This is a wonderful place and a wonderful event. I'm just really looking forward to being here today and enjoying all the activities. Somebody told me I should speak for 10 minutes, but I assure you it'll be a little bit less than that. As a great-great-grandson of Dr. John Kennicott, I'm honored to represent his family on this very, very special occasion. Reading the list of prior recipients of this award puts me in particular awe of the magnitude of this honor. The two previous members of the Hall of Fame from Illinois were Dr. Kennicott's contemporaries. John Deere was a vendor to Kennicott Nursery. Actually, he sold a plow to my great-great-grandfather, and we've got archives in the Grove that document that. Abraham Lincoln was nominated to run for U.S. Senator from Illinois in 1858 by a delegation which included Dr. John Kennicott. Even though Lincoln lost that election, the debates in the campaign gave him national recognition, which resulted in Lincoln's election to presidency in 1860. You've heard the credentials that resulted in Dr. Kennicott's nomination for this honor, but I wish to speak about his legacy. Throughout his life, Dr. Kennicott demonstrated the values and dignity of American agrarian lifestyle, self-reliance, sharing with others, compassion for them, self-education, high work ethic, and dedication to the advancement of agriculture. He had an influence in the course of events up to the highest level of government decisions, and his legacy touches the lives of countless individuals to this day. His early and passionate advocacy of a federal agricultural bureau was an immense influence in the establishment of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So profound has been the impact of that institution, it's really hard to imagine what agriculture in the USA today would be without it. The same can be said in the field of education. His ardent belief in the importance of elevating the paradigm of formal education for farmers was a strong motivating factor in the establishment of state land-grant colleges and eventually the Morrill Act, which was signed by President Lincoln in 1862. Attending agriculture classes and graduating from Michigan State University, the very first land-grant college, was especially rewarding for me and later for my granddaughter Paige, knowing that our ancestor was part of the revolutionary movement which resulted in its founding. Land-grant colleges raised the dignity of agriculture as a profession and changed forever the foundation of educational philosophy which had existed for hundreds of years before. Dr. Kennicott's wisdom and enthusiasm inspired anyone who knew him. Although he was recognized an expert in horticulture and his nursery was state-of-art at the time, he never was a wealthy man. However, he was always generous in sharing his knowledge and even his plant material, even though some of the people with whom he shared it might be his competitors. He touched the lives of countless people, encouraging them on to accomplishments which resonated through history and have an influence on our lives today. Dr. Kennicott's son Robert suffered ill health when he was young and was mostly schooled at home. He became intensely interested in natural science, and eventually he became inspired through his work with the Smithsonian Institution to make 2 trips to Russian America, as it was called in those days. He extensively cataloged plants, animals, and many other cultural aspects of this unknown region. Robert Kennicott died in Russian America at the age of 30, but his papers were the primary source for Secretary Seward in his advocacy of the purchase of Alaska from Russia. When the Civil War broke out, Dr. Kennicott organized a company to serve the war effort. It was mustered in his home site, The Grove, with his son Amasa as captain. His 2 daughters both served in the war effort, Alice as a nurse, and Cora, who was one of the first women to be commissioned in the U.S. Army. Education and advancement of women was always an aspiration for him, and this is another attribute to his comprehensive legacy. The nursery business, which Dr. Kennicott originally established at the Grove shortly after his arrival in 1836, flourished over the years. In 1881, 2 of his older sons, Amasa and Flint, opened the first wholesale florist business in the Midwest in Chicago to sell the expanded flower production from the Grove. Today, Kennicott Brothers Company is employee-owned and employs almost 500 people over 8 states. I'm currently the CEO, and also, together with my son, daughter, and granddaughter, we own and operate flower farms which grow peonies and many other flowers which were originally grown at the Grove. With our partners, we've expanded operations into Alaska and Chile, growing those same kinds of crops. The floral industry has also flourished. Dr. Kennicott's dreams were nourished by his advocacy of education, publications, and industry events such as state fairs, conventions, and committees, as you've heard. Today, floral commerce provides jobs for thousands of people and are enjoyed by countless American consumers. As a past president of the Society of American Florists and as a past chairman of the American Floral Endowment, I've been privileged to work and cooperate with many people at all levels in the floral industry. I've also had the opportunity to participate in the perpetuation of Dr. Kennicott's vision through educational grants, scholarships, and research at the land-grant universities. Most importantly, Dr. Kennicott's legacy is perpetuated through his original home site at the Grove near Glenview, Illinois. Thanks to the efforts of many, and especially Director Stephen Swanson, the Grove has become a National Historic Landmark. It is a very special place which preserves its history and demonstrates an advocacy of respect for our environment to thousands of visitors annually, particularly school children. I'm very proud to be part of that legacy of my great-great-grandfather. I sincerely thank the National Agricultural Hall of Fame for this honor.
Our second inductee is Forrest Selby. He was born in 1911 and died in 1970. Forrest Selby, a farm implement dealer, is inducted for his contributions to promoting agricultural mechanization, including an innovative plan that helped farmers obtain equipment after their return from World War II. When Selby was 14 years old in 1926, His father bought him an early farm all regular tractor to work